Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How
so
are
glad
you?
to have you back.
I know, I'm so glad to be here.
Okay, so being grateful can have an overall impact on our mental and our health, our overall well-being. So how is that so?
So gratitude, which I know so many of us have heard about before, it's so good for our mental health. And part of the reason for that is it taps in to our reward system in our brain, which releases dopamine and serotonin, but it greatly reduces anxiety and depression. So it's sort of protective and also unleashes some of our happy endorphins.
Yeah, and it's just, it enhances physical health and strengthens relationships. It really just makes you a better person, right?
It does. It helps with sleep and better immune system and, yes, better relationships.
So everyone is always grateful and so thankful for that one day of Thanksgiving, maybe even for the whole month of November, right? They do a challenge, 30 days of being thankful. But we want to extend that and really go beyond just saying thank you habitually without even really knowing why we're saying thank you or being grateful. So how do we use that practice throughout the year and for ourselves? Like, how do we manage to do that?
I'm glad that you brought that up because, you know, like so many other things, our own gratitude practice, we can kind of become immune to it.
Yeah.
And so it's important to change things up. And I would say that one of my biggest tips is to keep what you are grateful for, whatever that is, and some of the tips we're talking about, really sort of specific and small.
Okay.
Because if you just keep saying the same thing, it doesn't really work. The impact isn't there.
Okay.
So one of the things I know that many of us have heard about for all of us is this idea of journaling.
Okay.
And of course, I think many of us have tried that before, but I would suggest another tip with that is make sure that you put yourself in your journaling. So being thankful to yourself, because that is a very potent form of gratitude.
Right.
And we have found through research that just putting down 3 to 5 things a week is really beneficial.
Okay. And then you also say letters.
Oh yeah, I love this. So there's been some research done on letter writing. And so a really great way to incorporate gratitude throughout the year is when you feel grateful or thankful towards someone, putting that down, like if you could actually write a real letter, like snail mail or an email, but, you know, or even a text.
That works,
but really like writing a letter out to someone like sort of we used to do and putting it out in the mail is a great way to boost, you know, your immune system and your own mental health for yourself and the person that's receiving.
Okay, and then you also mentioned photography. That's an interesting one.
I like to bring in some like fun, creative ones because of this idea that we habitualize things and sort of get immune to them. But photography is really big. So going out on sort of this expedition to take pictures of the things that you feel grateful for in the moment. And so we've also seen a lot in research that the combination of gratitude and creativity is really, really, really powerful.
Yeah, and these are also things that you can do with your kids. So at what age do you think is too early, or is it never too early to do that with your kids?
I don't think it's ever too early, especially because most of our kids learn through modeling. And so even when they're super little, I have a 10-month-old right now, I have a 7, 4, and a 10-month-old, and you know, just them watching you with your gratitude practice. And so hearing you be thankful or writing that letter and explaining to them what you're doing or taking a picture and being like, I'm so grateful for the wind today or the sun that came
out. Things that they don't think about.
Exactly.
And then you also, with kids, you also say mirror gratitude.
Yes.
So I was thinking mirror, like you're just mirroring what you do, but you're not. You're literally standing in front of a mirror.
Yes, like this practice of having them sit in front of a mirror and out loud to themselves, sharing what they're grateful for, and then again, with that tip from before, really encouraging them to bring themselves into that practice. So like, what are you grateful to yourself for? And saying that out loud as a practice.
Really understanding the meaning of gratitude.
Yes.
And if you don't have kids and maybe you're in a relationship and, you know, you want to do, I think the time capsule one was a really interesting one, really quickly.
I love that one. So what you could do, because what we've understood about gratitude as well is another way to really like up the ante with this is this idea of delayed gratification in gratitude. And so what this practice is, which I really love in a relationship, is sort of writing out or like piecing together throughout sort of a chunk of time of what you're grateful for in your partner and sort of putting it somewhere, and then maybe on an anniversary, or maybe you have like gratitude anniversary, like your own anniversary once a year or once, you know, or twice a year, that you open this up, this like time capsule up, and you sort of share with each other. It's a really beautiful way and a sort of creative, fun way to sort of add things and then have this sense of delayed sort of gratitude.
I love that. These are all really good tips because we do become immune to it, like you said, and just say thank you, but with no meaning, no purpose
Exactly.
behind it. So it's good to do that throughout the year and practice these things. So thank you so much, Deepika.
Of course.